When my wife begged me to stay, I didn't feel relief.
I felt numb.
Because begging only happens when someone
Realizes they've
already lost control of the situation. And by then, the damage is usually done. We had been married for 8 years. From the outside, we looked solid. Good jobs, shared routines, weekend dinners, family gatherings where everyone said we were the perfect couple. But inside our home, something had been quietly breaking for a long time. She had started pulling away months earlier, coming home late, spending more time on her phone than talking to me, laughing at messages she wouldn't explain, saying she was just tired when I tried to connect. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she'd smile and say, "Don't overthink it." So I didn't.
I trusted my wife.
The first real crack appeared on a random Tuesday night. I came home early from work, hoping to surprise her with dinner. The house was quiet.
Too quiet.
Her car was gone. I checked my phone. One text. Out with friends. Back late.
No heart emoji.
No details. That night she came home past midnight. She smelled different.
Not bad, just unfamiliar.
When I hugged her, she stiffened for half a second before relaxing.
I noticed it.
She noticed that I noticed, and from that night on, everything felt tense. Over the next few weeks, I found myself eating dinner alone more often. Her excuses stacked up: work stress, friends, errands that took hours longer than necessary. Still, I told myself this was just a phase. Until the night I saw a name pop up on her phone that I didn't recognize. She flipped the screen down instantly.
Who's that? I asked.
"Just someone from work," she said too quickly.
That was the first lie. I didn't confront her.
I didn't accuse her. I waited. And waiting is dangerous because it gives the truth time to surface on its own. A week later, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the bed.
I shouldn't have looked.
But I did. One message was enough.
I miss you already. Last night meant everything.
My chest tightened. My hands went cold. When she came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her hair. She froze when she saw me sitting on the bed with her phone in my hand. She knew.
Explain, I said quietly.
She sat down slowly, like her legs might give out. "It's not what you think," she started. But it was exactly what I thought. She admitted there was someone else.
Not a stranger.
Someone she'd reconnected with months ago. It started as talking. Then emotional support. Then lines were crossed. She cried, apologized, said she was confused, said it didn't mean anything. I asked her one question. "Do you want to stay married to me?" She hesitated, just for a second. But that second changed everything.
I don't know, she whispered.
That was the moment I emotionally checked out. I told her I needed time to think and slept on the couch that night, staring at the ceiling.
Realizing the woman I trusted.
Most had already left the marriage.
She just hadn't moved out yet. What I didn't
know was that the worst part
hadn't happened yet, because
when she finally begged me to stay, it would already be too late. The next morning, she acted like nothing had changed. She made coffee,
asked if I wanted eggs,
spoke softly, carefully, like one wrong word might shatter what was left between us.
I didn't answer much. Inside, I felt hollow.
Like someone had reached into my chest and removed something essential, leaving only weight behind. Before leaving for work, she stopped at the door. "I'm sorry," she said.
"I never wanted to hurt you."
I looked at her and realized something terrifying. I believed she was sorry.
But I also knew she wasn't done. That day, I didn't go to work.
I drove aimlessly, replaying every memory of our relationship. The good ones hurt the most. They felt contaminated now.
Like they belonged to a version of us that didn't exist anymore.
When I came home that evening, her phone was on the kitchen counter.
Unlocked.
She had never been careless with it before. The screen lit up with a message.
"Do you miss me?"
I didn't read further.
I didn't need to.
She walked in and saw my expression.
"I told you I ended it," she said quickly.
"But you told me you'd think about ending it," I replied. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. That night, I asked her to tell me everything. No minimizing, no protecting feelings, just the truth. She admitted she was still talking to him, that she didn't know how to cut him off, that she felt torn between comfort and excitement, between me and him.
That's when something in me went quiet. I stopped asking questions.
I stopped trying to convince her to choose us. Instead, I started preparing for life without her.
I opened a separate bank account.
I looked at apartments during lunch breaks. I called a lawyer, not to file yet, but to understand my options. She noticed the distance. "Why are you pulling away?" she asked one night.
I almost laughed.
A week later, she came home shaking, said he had told her to leave me.
Said he wanted a real relationship.
Her voice trembled as she spoke.
I don't know what to do, she said.
I looked at her and realized the truth.
She wasn't afraid of losing me.
She was afraid of choosing wrong. That night, I packed a bag.
I need space, I said.
Her face crumpled.
Please don't go, she begged.
We can fix this. I paused at the door. Fixing requires commitment, I said. You're still undecided.
I left.
And for the first time in months, I slept through the night. Living alone changed things faster than I expected. The silence in my new place wasn't heavy, it was honest.
No pretending.
No wondering who she was texting. No waiting for explanations that never fully made sense. She called every day,
sometimes crying,
sometimes angry, sometimes calm and logical, like she was trying to negotiate my return instead of repairing what she broke. I've chosen you, she said on the third day. I didn't respond right away. Chosen, I repeated.
Or settled?
That question upset her more than anything else I'd said.
I cut him off, she insisted. I blocked him everywhere.
After how long? I asked. She didn't answer. I asked her to send proof. Not because I wanted control, but because trust had already died. She sent screenshots. Blocked number. Deleted chat. Too clean. Trust doesn't come back through screenshots. We met in person a week later at a cafe.
Neutral ground.
No memories attached. She looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes.
Hands shaking as she held her coffee. I can't lose you, she said. Please come home.
That was the first time she truly begged.
And still I felt nothing.
I needed you to choose me before I was optional, I said quietly. She reached across the table. I pulled my hand back.
She cried openly then.
People stared.
I didn't care.
What do you want me to do? She asked.
I answered honestly. I want peace. And I don't have that with you anymore.
She whispered, I'll change. I nodded. I believe you.
I just don't believe I'll ever feel safe again.
That was when her tone shifted. She accused me of giving up too easily.
Of not fighting for our marriage. Of abandoning her when she was struggling. I realized something painful in that moment.
She wanted forgiveness without consequences. She wanted me back, but not accountability.
I stood up. I didn't leave when you were struggling, I said.
I left when you kept choosing someone else. She watched me walk away. That night, she showed up at my apartment unannounced.
Crying, shaking, on her knees. I'll do anything, she begged.
Please don't throw us away. I helped her stand.
But I didn't let her in.
Because begging only matters before betrayal, not after it. And she still didn't understand that. After that night, something shifted. She stopped begging. Instead, she became quiet, distant, almost resigned. The messages slowed. The calls stopped coming daily. For a moment, I wondered if she had finally accepted what she'd done. Then the guilt crept in.
I questioned myself constantly.
8 years isn't nothing. Shared holidays.
Inside jokes.
Plans that stretched years into the future. I asked myself if I was being too harsh. That's the trap of loving.
Someone who betrays you
start doubting your own boundaries. One evening, she asked if we could talk one last time. Just closure, she said. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at our old house. She had cleaned everything. The place looked untouched, like she was trying to preserve a version of us that no longer existed.
I know I messed up, she said.
But I never stopped loving you. I looked around the room and felt strangely detached. Love doesn't make you optional, I replied. She told me he was gone now, that he'd moved on, that she realized too late that I was the only stable thing in her life. That word, stable, cut deep.
I wasn't her choice. I was her safety net. I begged you to stay before I crossed the line, I said.
You ignored me. She cried harder then.
I didn't think you'd actually leave, she whispered. That was the truth.
She thought I'd endure anything. That night, She finally begged the way people do when they understand consequences.
Full panic.
No excuses, no blame.
I'll quit my job.
Change my number. Go to therapy.
Whatever you want, she pleaded. I believed her, and still I said no.
Because change offered under fear isn't love, it's damage control. I told her I was filing for divorce. She collapsed onto the couch. You're making a mistake, she said through tears. No, I said gently.
I'm correcting one.
I walked out with nothing but my keys. Behind me, she screamed my name.
I didn't turn around.
Because staying would have meant teaching her that betrayal has no cost.
And I loved myself too much to do that.
The divorce was finalized 6 months later. No dramatic courtroom scene.
No shouting.
Just signatures, silence, and a life quietly closing its chapter. She tried to reach out during those months.
Long messages.
Late-night calls. Apologies that grew more desperate over time.
I didn't respond.
Not because I hated her, but because every reply reopened a wound. I was trying to heal. When everything was done, I felt something unexpected.
Relief.
I moved to a smaller place closer to work.
Started going to the gym again. Reconnected with friends.
I'd slowly drifted away from while trying to hold a failing marriage together.
One evening I ran into her at a grocery store.
She looked different, smaller, like life had finally hit her with the weight of her choices.
I never thought you'd really leave, she said softly. I met her eyes.
I never thought you'd risk us, I replied. She told me he left shortly after I did, that he didn't want the responsibility once things became real.
I wasn't surprised.
Affairs survive on fantasy, not consequences. As I walked away, she called after me. I still love you.
I didn't turn around.
Because love spoken too late is just regret with a familiar voice.
I learned something through all of this.
When someone begs you to stay after they've already betrayed you, they aren't asking for love, they're asking for relief from the consequences. And choosing yourself isn't cruel. It's necessary.